So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Navamsa video of the week. And this week we're going to be covering Moon in the 11th house of your Navamsa chart. As in, what happens when Moon is in the 11th house, meaning Chandra. In the divisional chart known as D9, Navamsa, it's one of the most important charts in Vedic Astrology, which kind of shows the strength of your planets, the core karma of your planets. It also shows the life as it progresses, because all the planets are in the ring of Saturn. Okay, you got to remember this. All the planets are in the ring of Saturn. And Saturn matures at which age? 36. So because all the planets are in the ring of Saturn, which is actually discussed mainly in biblical theology, all the planets tend to mature because when Saturn matures, we feel old. So whether it's our mind, whether it's our ego, whether it's our actions, whether it's our intelligence, they all kind of get lifted up to a certain stage. So this is why Navamsa becomes very strong in the second half of life. And as always, if you do not know, if you have Moon in the 11th house of your Navamsa chart and what sign it's in and all the other astrological details, for that check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Magha Vedic Astrology Academy, where I teach you everything related to astrology. And my new course is going to be starting soon, maybe by end of this month. I'm still deciding. I don't want to, it's a lot of work, but I'm still thinking maybe I should start in another month or not, but it's going to be planets through ascendants. Okay, it's going to be a quick lesson, awesome lessons. So anyway, let's get started with this moon placement. So Moon in the 11th house. The most important thing you will notice is that if there are no gains, if there's no pleasure, if there's no social life, marriage just has the hardest time working out. Whether it's from your side or the other person, there must be liquid gains in the marriage. There must be material resources coming in the marriage. And when they don't, the marriage becomes a pretty much a very rocky path to walk on. And social life must become important. Social life becomes extremely important with Moon in the 11th. So if you get married into a situation where you're away from everybody, you're away from people, you're away from your network circles, your friends, the mind will not be feeling great because mind is constantly involved in these things. And especially one of the things we see with Moon in the 11th, that one thing that suffers is the romance of the marriage, because the mind is so stuck in being glorified and in attaining all the gains in life that the things that you're supposed to do with that gains kind of get left behind. Now, even if you think Venus in the, in the chart, let's say Venus is in the 5th house of romance, it'll improve the romance. No, it'll just be like, kind of like igniting the gas. Like there has to be constant ignition to the gas. Constantly, this person needs to be validated that we're good, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're the perfect one. And then it, starts up for a little bit. But for most people, when you turn the ignition on, the gas is there. That's one thing that happens with this particular moon. But the thing is, Moon here, especially if it gets aspected by Jupiter and Saturn, it'll have a complete opposite effect. This person will be able to settle into any situation, any circumstances, and will always be a giver and provider. These two planets. Now, if let's say Mars is with Moon, somehow influencing Moon, a person will be much more engaged aggressively towards their gains and their social circle. But once, let's say, they have a social circle, they have that life that they can, kind of congregate with everybody, then the marriage is doing well. They're in love. They do very well. They, sink into this in this matrimonial contract. But I've seen that this moon, unless a person is being well off, whether it's by themselves or through the spouse, through the marriage, there will always be this agitation within the mind. And usually such a moon, and here's the thing, this moon doesn't mean that they're going to cheat or have affairs. No, they just like to be appreciated by other people, especially the opposite sex. They always want to feel like, wow, I've still got it. Wow, I'm being appreciated. Okay. They like other people to flirt with them because it kind of validates their senses that, hey, they're still young, they're still got it. Even if they're married, people still want them. That's all it is. Sure, I mean, you can have a person, have an affair with this particular moon, but that again, you have to see the sign, you have to see all the placement, you have to see the birth chart. So one placement is not going to signify this one particular event. What I give you is this aura of each planet, how it is kind of like being appreciated in that particular house. Okay. So this was my analysis of moon in the 11th house of your D9 Navamsa chart. And if you're new in my channel, subscribe below. And if you don't know where your moon is placed and all the other astrological details for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report along with everything else. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.